Hello, and thank you for tuning into our fourth instalment of personal financial advice in these post-COVID times. If this is the first time you're tuning in, I am Linda Sturgis, an authorised financial advisor who's been in the industry since 1987. So I've seen volatile times, and my mission is to help millennials meet their financial goals. I've chosen millennials for two main reasons. One, the government's unlikely to be able to support you in the current way that they support this generation. And two, time is on your side. Small changes now can have a pronounced effect on your future financial position. Today I'm going to take you through a 5-minute guide on how to check you have the right risk profile for your Kiwisaver and how to make good decisions in these volatile times. Just to be clear, this is not personalised advice, as I don't know your personal situation, and I'm definitely not trying to sell you anything. I just want to leave a legacy to an industry that supported me through my career and to a generation that has time to make small changes now that will make their future brighter. So, quite simply, it's your retirement savings. It's about putting money aside now so when you're retired you have enough to live in the manner you've planned for. In New Zealand, the exception to this is the first home owner's withdrawal, where you can take a portion of your Kiwisaver to provide for your deposit on your first home. And I'll talk some more about that in a minute. But in general terms, your Kiwisaver is for your long-term financial goals. I absolutely get this is hard to imagine that far into the future, and it's not your fault. We're genetically wired to only imagine as far ahead as the life we've lived so far. But if you make tiny changes now, they'll have a pronounced effect on the way you can live your life in the future. I do want to pause there and talk about why I care so much about this. Right now, there are 4 of you working to pay taxes that help pay the superannuation of just one person. That's $424 for a single person living alone. In 20 years' time, the number of working people that pay taxes will be 2 workers for each retired person. And that's not even when most of you are thinking about retiring. It's because as a population we're not having as many children and we're living a lot longer. Currently our life expectancy is 82.3 years. If you were born in 1991, at that point your life expectancy was 75 years. This means you have a lot of years to pay for in your retirement, and nobody wants to outlive their money. So, enough of that gloomy stuff. Let's look at a plan to get your Kiwisaver working hard for you. The first thing to get right is understanding the fund you're in and making sure it's the right one for you. As millennials, you have a long time to ride out the volatility in the share market, which provides the growth portion of your Kiwisaver. The rough rule of thumb is 5 years. So, unless you're taking funds out for that first home from your Kiwisaver, you should be able to take on more risk in pursuit of greater returns. So, my first tip is find out the risk profile of the fund you're in. When Kiwisaver was first brought in, the default fund was conservative. So this means about 25% in growth assets like shares. This is too conservative for your generation and more suited for the retirees. The government's moved the risk profile up to balanced, which is around about 50% growth assets. But you should jump on your provider's website and do the risk profiling questions to check that you're in the right risk profile for you. If you're planning on using your Kiwisaver to fund that deposit on your first home, then your time horizon's much shorter and you should be more conservative. If you're on the low end of earning, and make sure you've contributed at least $1,042 to your Kiwisaver, the government will give you $521. That's right, if you do nothing else, do this, because at least that's a 50% return on your money. The contributions to your Kiwisaver, you can choose between 3, 4, 6, 8 and 10%. And in most cases your employer will be contributing 3% as well. This is a great way to save because your savings hit your Kiwisaver and they don't go through your spending accounts. Now I'm going to explain to you why it's important to keep contributing even when the market gets scary. So, dollar cost averaging, more fancy jargon our industry loves. This is an oversimplified example, and it's going to explain to you why you should stick to the plan even when the going gets tough. So, week 1, your $100 buys you 100 units in your Kiwisaver. Then, week 2, the share market has a correction and falls to 85 cents. You don't panic and think, my first week's contributions are now $85. You stick to the plan and buy another $100 worth of units, which is 117 units. Then along comes week 3, and the share market has recovered and the unit price for your fund is $1.10. You contribute your $100 and that buys you 90.9 units. So let's look at the overall position at that point. You have 308 units, and the current unit price at $1.10 gives you a total value of your Kiwisaver at $339.35. So when the share market goes down, think of it as buying things on sale. You're getting shares at a cheaper price. You have a long time before you can access this money, and it will go up and down over this period, but you need to have a plan and stick to it. So in an effort to keep this big topic brief, I'll give you a quick checklist of things to consider. Go to the Sorted website and check out approximately how much money you're going to need for retirement. This will give you a long-term financial goal to aim for. Check you have the right risk profile by answering the 6 risk profiling questions and make sure that fund is right for you. Then work out how much you can reasonably afford to have taken out of your pay packet to meet your financial goals. So to summarise, don't panic. Take back some control by reviewing your budget, consider creating an emergency fund, and stick to your plan with Kiwisaver. Thank you for tuning in, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me by email or direct message me on Instagram. Thank you.